On this episode of Firepower, the Navy's most powerful warship, the Aegis cruiser. Its engines produce 80,000 horsepower. Its radar, the most advanced in the world. Its weapons, both sophisticated.
Following World War II, the Soviet Union expanded its fleet to counteract the dominance of the seas by the West. With the expansion came a heavy reliance on missiles. But the design of the ships showed the unmistakable signs of an earlier era. Brute force weapons exposed topside, with missile tubes replacing large caliber guns. Missiles were also installed on Soviet aircraft and submarines. The result was a large and powerful threat to the American Navy. That sent naval engineers in the United States to the drawing boards to devise new ways to both protect the fleet and to give it greater offensive punch. Those design efforts coincided with technological advances in missile reliability, radar capability, computers, and miniature electronics. Provide. The Aegis cruiser is actually the Ticonderoga class missile cruiser, taking the name Ticonderoga from the... In comparison to the world's other cruisers, it is small, and it is manned by a surprisingly small crew.
Lake Champlain is 567 feet long. It's got a width of 55 feet, and it displaces about 9,600 tons. Crew complement is about 360 crew members, with a normal officer complement of about 23. We have the capability of bringing on 2 helicopters, and if we do, that'll add about 4 or 5 officers and about 10 or 15 crew members. So total complement, when we're fully loaded for deployment, can reach almost 400.
4 gas turbine engines, identical to those that power the DC-10 aircraft, produce 80,000 horsepower, permitting the ship to make speeds in excess of 30 knots. Two engines are linked to each of 2 propellers. They are controlled in the ship's engineering compartments, which are almost pristine in comparison to older ships, where stifling heat and black oil were common. Sensors and computers now help engineers in their tasks.
Secure low visibility detail.
As is the case with all gas turbine ships, Aegis cruisers can control engine speed directly from consoles on the bridge. In Greek mythology,
the Navy began the Aegis program long before this particular class ship was thought of. Aegis is basically an evolution through the steps of improving the AAW, or anti-air warfare capability of the Navy. That's where it really started. This particular class ship, the Ticonderoga class, was first contracted in 1978 with CG-47. She was actually commissioned in 1983. The platform itself is only part of what Aegis is all about. Aegis is a combination of many systems controlled through computerization. Aegis is the spy radar, Aegis is the command and decision, Aegis is the weapons control system. Aegis is the conglomeration or the bringing together of all of the combat systems in this platform. It's the best and most up-to-date system that the Navy has.
Radars are pointed away from their targets over half the time. Aegis cruisers deal with these threats with a new radar called Spy-1.
Spy-1 Alpha is a phased array, electronically steered radar, which consists of 4 spy arrays, or array faces. These 4 arrays give us 360-degree coverage at all times. Spy 1 Alpha is controlled by a 4-bay computer suite, which basically forms, steers, and actually schedules these radar beams, which we call dwells, at its own interval. The range of the Spy 1 Alpha radar is approximately 250 plus nautical miles, with maxing out probably about 260 nautical miles. It also has the capability of tracking 256 tracks.
Keeping tabs on hundreds of targets at very long ranges can generate an enormous amount of data. When combined with data from other sensors, SPY can easily cause data overload. Data is shown on large screen displays, where symbols represent ships, aircraft, and targets. And unlike days of old, it is here where the commanding officer comes to make the critical decisions about weapons use. Aegis cruisers are, after all, weapons platforms.
The Navy right now has 27 Aegis cruisers planned. They are primarily used in a battle group organization. One of their primary missions is anti-air warfare, and providing the coordination and the command and control in a carrier battle group is what Aegis really does the best. We have other primary mission areas in ASW, anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare, strike warfare, but the anti-air warfare mission is one of our big strong points.
The primary weapon for conducting anti-air warfare is invisible vertical launch systems against targets up to 60 miles away.
SM-2 is primarily surface to air. It gets its data from the Spy 1 Alpha radar that we have on board, and it's a real-time system. The Spy will provide continuous information to the missile, first of all before it launches, and then during its flight. We have illuminators during the terminal phase, or the last few seconds of flight of the missile, that will shine on the target and then provide final close-in data for the missile so that its probability of kill will be increased.
TLAM missions are planned ashore and can be sent to the cruiser by radio if a rapid response is required. But shipboard personnel make the final launch decisions. The most visible weapons on the Aegis cruisers are the 2 5-inch naval guns, located both fore and aft on the main deck. Each mount is 24 tons and is electronically linked to a gunfire control radar. Even when firing, the gun is unmanned, being operated by a crew of 6 stationed below deck. 20 rounds of ammunition are stored in the gun, which can be reloaded during firing. These 5-inchers have a range of 13 miles. For all the ships in the U.S. fleet, the threat posed by submarines looms very large. They are quiet and very difficult to find. To deal with this threat, Aegis cruisers are equipped with sophisticated anti-submarine warfare equipment. The SQS-53 is the latest in a long series of hull-mounted sonars. It can detect submarines by putting sound energy into the water, then measuring the return. Or it can be used in a quieter, listening-only mode. Aegis cruisers, like other ships in the U.S. fleet, extend the range of their submarine detection capability by using Seahawk helicopters, called LAMPs, or Light Airborne Multipurpose System. Its airframe is identical to the Army's Black Hawk, built by Sikorsky, but it is a totally different aircraft. A Powerful radar gives the Lance excellent navigation and ship detection capabilities. To locate submarines, it uses a magnetic anomaly detector, which can detect the very small changes in the Earth's magnetic field caused by the presence of the submarine. Lamps also uses sonar buoys to locate subs. The buoys are dropped in an area where the enemy submarine is thought to be operating. Small sonars in the sonar buoys are used to detect the sub, transmitting data back to the Lamp's helo. Seahawks are rugged and durable, but flying the 10-ton aircraft from the small deck of the Aegis requires special skill on the part of both the aircrew and the ship. In poor weather, flight operations are a test of the equipment and the courage of the men involved. To make a landing in heavy seas, Aegis cruisers use a special winch to actually pull the Lamps aboard. Submarine hunting is primarily a human effort for specially trained evaluators and air controllers called ASACs.
On a ship like this, the ASW portion gets put to the side a lot because it's primarily an AAW, anti-air warfare ship. But the way the ASW works is through the evaluators and the ASACs. The evaluator is in overall control of the helo. The ASAC recommends the tactics to the aircraft. He speaks the same language as the pilot. You go into your modes of tracking him, and once you're within the attack criteria, then definitely, if he's a threat, you want to put the weapon in the water.
That weapon is the acoustically guided Mark 46 light torpedo, which can be launched from the Lamp's helo or by the ship itself. Despite its benign appearance, the Aegis cruiser is the mainstay of the United States surface fleet.
The Navy for a long time has incorporated as many mission areas into a single platform as possible in light of the fact that we are not capable, because of budgetary constraints, to build the number of ships that would be needed in order to build a singular mission-oriented platform. So therefore we pack as much as we can into a single platform, and if you'll excuse a cliche, to get the biggest bang out of the buck that we can.
Commanding an Aegis cruiser requires a man of experience, patience, wisdom, and a sense of priorities.
If one were to ask me what it felt like to command an Aegis cruiser that some people have called the most lethal weapon system that the Navy has today on the surface, I would say that it's really not the fact that it's a lethal weapon system. I would say more that it is the fact that you are given the opportunity to command people. And that's what the Navy is all about. Hoppers off of our helo deck. It's the fact that what brought me to the Navy and is what has kept me in the Navy is the fact that it's the people that you work with, the talent that you see on the ships, the enthusiasm that people display. That's what really command is all about.
Ship, captain, and crew. 3 key elements in a warship called Aegis.